What's up, everybody? It's Brandon here again, and today we are continuing on our series on construction, high level, just a mini series. So today what we want to talk about is how to talk to contractors and get these prices that we talked about in our previous video. If you didn't watch the previous video, I recommend go back and watch the previous two. This is the last one, really just negotiating with contractors and making sure that you get the best bang for your buck, as well as a good value and great renovation projects, right? So number one thing is when you're dealing with contractors, you want to have a material list, right? So I would go through and create a list of materials that you want on your project, and they understand what is going where. So like create what's called a schedule. So you could say, in the master bedroom, we want gold knobs on the doors, right? And these are what they look like. This is where to get them. This is the brand, blah, blah, blah. In the master bathroom, we want chrome knobs, right? So maybe then you have to take a picture and you have to put it on there, and it just creates like a good inventory. Now, as you're creating this, what it does is on your next project, you don't have to create this again. You don't have to go pick materials. You don't have to go to the store and say, oh, this feels good, this feels terrible, blah. Like just do the work up front, and it will help you on the back end, because this is all about creating an asset that is repeatable, and essentially you can continue to do it over and over and over again, right? Now, obviously, if materials go out of stock or they have issues with, maybe they don't work as well as you thought it would, you can swap it out, but it's only one item instead of having to continue to reinvent the wheel every time. So create a master list of materials that you like using on your project, especially when it comes to finishes, because again, finishes could break your budget, especially with how things cost and where they are, and you see something that's looking really nice and it fits the space, and you're like, but that one's $200 more, and you keep doing that through the projects, you realize really quick that you're going to run out of money, and you're going to leave more money in the property than you really want to. So create a list. Next up, I recommend talking to contractors and let them know, hey, look, this is a business I'm looking to create, and I want more of a partnership. And my recommendation with contractors company, don't approach somebody that's like been in the business doing new builds for the longest time. I would approach someone who's like kind of up and coming, that does really good work. And you can ask these contractors to send you photos and proof of their work, and even referrals that you could talk to some of their prior customers and see how they did the work, talk to them about their price and that kind of thing. So you're going to want to grab coffee with them or tea or whatever, and sit down and learn where they want to take their business, and say, hey, if I can guarantee you do 4 houses a year in addition to what you're doing now, how might that be able to help you? And they'll tell you, they'll say, I'm sure it's a lot of work, right? If you're doing 4 houses a year, then it's about $400,000 in revenue for them, right? Roughly. So I would talk to them about that and say, like, listen, I want to make sure that you're eating and I'm also eating too. So I'm looking to build a partnership where I could get sort of preferred pricing and still, make sure that you're making a good profit to really help each other grow. Is that something you'd be open to? So, you sit down, you chat, and then as you're going through these contractor interviews, what you're going to ask each one of them is, hey, how much do you typically charge to renovate a bathroom? Oh, by the way, how much do you charge to renovate a kitchen? How much do you charge for floors? How much do you charge for painting? How much do you charge for drywall? That kind of thing. So you're going to want to make sure that you're writing these things down, and what you could do is when you're done interviewing, you can kind of go back and look at your list and see where everyone line up in the price, and also you could use that to take an average to say, well, you know what, I'm going to use this average for any properties that we're renovating just to get a ROM to know exactly what it would cost. And I don't believe in necessarily pitting people against each other, where you're like, hey, this contractor A over here could do it for $10K, and can you do it for $9? And then you go back and forth. Like, I always ask for best pricing, and it's always best to have 2 relationships, 2 to 3 contractor relationships, because in case contractor A goes out of business, or maybe contractor B is like so busy he can't do your project, you might have to go to contractor C, right? Or whatever. So things do come up, things happen, and people get busy. So you want to make sure that you're building a relationship with at least 2 to 3 of them, so that you could get best pricing, as well as the best timeline for them and their work, However, if you can kind of prep them as you're going through your projects and as you're bidding on things, they can kind of slot you in and say, okay, look, I'm putting a bid in on this project. It may or may not come up. But once you get an answer on your bid, you should talk to them and say, hey, look, this project is a go. I need you in 2 weeks to start this. Can you do that? And then that way you can have a plan moving forward with them. And again, you want to talk to them about their pricing. You want to make sure that you're getting the best pricing. Now, another tip that I like to do is I purchase all the materials typically, right? All the materials that are sort of like finishes, like toilets and knobs and door handles and hinges, cabinets, like all those big items, big ticket items, I usually purchase that. And what I would do is, I recommend that you do it, and then you ask them for labor mostly, right? So when I say labor mostly, like let them buy the consumables, right? You don't need to be going to Home Depot trying to figure out what type of grout to buy, or you don't need to go to, and say, oh, well, what's the difference between mold resistance drywall and regular drywall? Like, you don't need to do that. Let them do that. Let them mark it up. It's okay. They have to eat as well, right? So you want to make sure that when you're doing these projects that it's more of a partnership, and that way they will actually be happy that you're buying these knobs, because they don't want to have to go to the store and pick it out and deal with it, right? But you could just go online, buy it, and then ship it to the house, or ship it to your house, or wherever your place of business is. So that's the way I would negotiate this, and do it more of like a JV partnership, where you purchase the materials, the finishes, and stuff like that. They purchase the consumable, they do the labor, and that kind of thing. So there you have it. I hope this video was helpful in determining how much things cost and how to negotiate with contractors. Valencia and I are so excited that you guys are joining us on this challenge, and we look forward to helping you create wealth through real estate. Take care, and I'll see you on the challenge.